Hi, everyone. I wanted to answer the questions that people submitted prior to the coaching call. I didn't get to them in the coaching call because the coaching call kind of went on a little bit longer than usual. And so I wanted to create a separate video for these. So I'm going to go through these questions and hopefully this will help you. All right, so Lynette is asking on this very first question up here at the top. I have intermittent pain from severe disc-based narrowing at L5-S1. And L5-S1, folks, is the last lumbar vertebra and the sacrum. So L5-S1. So that's the space right there. What are the best core strengthening exercises for that? And so this is a great question because I almost never do core strengthening exercises because they don't solve pain. So really, I want you to think about it like this. If I have a lever arm like this, acting on my hip joint, all right, does it make sense that I would want to correct the problems with that lever arm? Or would it make more sense for me to address the muscles right here at the hip joint? Well, clearly the lever arm is doing much more work at that hip joint than any muscle is doing right here at the hip joint. And it's the same for core strengthening. Core strengthening is right here, and it's not that it's completely unimportant. It's that it's not the thing that solves pain. Core strength is nice to have to stabilize things, but I have never, ever found core strength to be something that solves pain. Instead, what solves pain is addressing the lever arms that are working on the back and pelvis. And that's what my program does. So, so what are the best core strengthening exercises for that? Well, in my program, I have the lifting the rib cage recommendation. That activates the core naturally the way it's supposed to be activated. That, in my opinion, is the only core exercise you really need. Because if you do that lifting the rib cage habit change all day long, your core will be activated just as it should be all day long. And so that's the only strength that you really need in your core in terms of solving back pain. I hope that makes sense, Lynette. It's a great question, and I'm a guest on podcasts often, and I get questions about core strengthening all the time. And this is the answer: is that if you're working on a system that has long lever arms, and frankly your arms are lever arms to your low back too, it makes more sense to solve the lever arm issue than the muscles right at that area, because by that time they're never going to be strong enough to solve a lever problem or offset a lever problem. Okay? All right, thanks. I hope that answers your question. All right, next question from Merrill. Hi, Rick. I have watched the medial ankle taping. However, my issue is my right lateral ankle. Can you explain the proper way to TR? So I'm imagining that to treat this. So this is an interesting question, and it involves a specificity that I didn't feel I could put into my programs. However, let's talk about this a little bit. So the outside of the ankle here, all right, you'll see that we have this long, thin bone right here. That's called the fibula. And it interacts with the outside ankle bone here. Now, what often happens, the most common type of ankle sprain is when the ankle turns out like that, all right? And it's called an inversion sprain. Now, what happens, especially in people with looser ligaments, is that the motion of the foot and ankle rolling out actually moves the head of the fibula here at the ankle and displaces it slightly. It can also be displaced significantly, and which is called a syndesmosis sprain. And the syndesmosis is the ligament that attaches the fibula to the tibia. Now, an easy way to see whether you have a syndesmosis sprain is just have someone squeeze your ankle together like this to see if that relieves your pain. And if it does, then you just want to put a little piece of tape around there to keep squeezing that ankle together so that syndesmosis sprain can heal. Otherwise, because movements in your ankle will keep separating those two bones. So that's one easy thing that you can experiment with doing. All right, sorry, I can't see my picture on this recording, so I'm hoping that you're seeing the ankle here. All right, now the other thing that typically happens, I'm going to turn this sideways now, It's a little awkward. Okay, so here we are sideways facing, and here's the outer ankle bone. Now, what also happens is with an inversion sprain, what happens is that the inversion sprain causes this bone to be shifted forward or back ever so slightly. It can be the thickness of your fingernail. I mean, really, it's almost no motion at all, but just there's a force that is holding that in a wrong position that causes chronic ankle pain, especially laterally. So here's the easy way to figure that out. You're standing and you've got that painful ankle, or do something that makes that painful. Maybe it's bending your knee slightly or something like that. You'll have someone else kneel in front of you, and what they'll do with their hand is they'll push with the palm of their hand, they'll push that bone backward, and you see whether that eliminates your pain or not. And if it does, then you're going to put a piece of tape that starts in the front, and they're going to push that bone backward and then pull the tape back and around a little bit so that it's going to hold that bone into a better position. All right. Now, the other direction would be the opposite. So if the pushing the bone back doesn't help, then if they just simply pull the bone forward and that relieves your pain, then that's the direction that fibular head needs to go. This is a very common problem. I see it all the time in ankle sprains, chronic ankle pain sprains. So, and again, if the fibular head needs to come forward and that relieves your pain, then of course you would tape the bone forward, and you would then start with the tape back here somewhere. You would pull the bone forward and then pull the tape to make sure it's pulling that bone forward, and then do a little half loop around the shin or something like that to anchor that. And that should feel much better. Keep the tape on for a week or a few days, and that should solve that lateral ankle pain. So there's 3 different taping techniques you can use to solve this. It's a very common complaint with ankle pain. I just felt it was a little too specific for me to get into in my programs. So hopefully that helps you, Meryl. Okay, the next question. Let's see, Rita. We talked about with Rita last night in our call. So we can move on from that one. Catherine, will I need a TV set, or will it work just as good on my cell phone? I'm assuming you're talking about my program, and you should be able to watch all of the program on your cell phone. It's all mobile friendly. So hopefully that answers your question there, Catherine. Let's see, Ellen. Oh, we answered Ellen's call. She didn't get her registration email. Actually, that has been sent to her this morning. So hopefully she's all set and ready to go. Okay, Linda, can you give us sciatic back pain people exercises to strengthen the core? All right, well, this goes right back to Lynette's first question. So again, the only core strengthening exercise you need is to do that lift in the rib cage, because that activates the core naturally, and it's how your body is supposed to work. The sciatic pain or back pain that you're having is not due to core weakness. In spite of everything you've probably been told, this is one of the biggest myths in solving back pain. The lever arms that are acting on your back or sciatic pain are much more important to solve than the core strength. Core strength is nice, but it's not going to solve pain. All right, Pam, I have cramping sensations and twitching. I have cramping and twitching sensations in legs and feet, but also in arms and hands at times. Can the arms and hands be from the lumbar? Typically, no. Here's the connection. So hopefully, let's see. Hopefully, Pam, you have watched, if you got the neck and headaches program, you will understand that the center of function for all neck and head issues is the shoulder girdle system. This is the source of most problems, including numbness and tingling in the hands. All right. In the leg, if you have numbness and tingling in the legs and feet, the source of the problem is usually the pelvis in some way, because it's causing the back to be askew in some way. So here's the connection between the two. If you have numbness or tingling in one leg, say your right leg, typically what's happening is if there's asymmetrical numbness and tingling, you've got something called a side bending problem, where one side of the pelvis is higher and the rib cage is slightly lower on that same side. This creates, as you might imagine, compression on the roots of the sciatic nerve that travel down the leg, causing the numbness and tingling. Why is this pattern happening? Because of some older problem in that leg. And this is your brain's way of getting off of that problem by hiking the hip up to get off of it, all right? So here's where this connects to the upper body. So if your pelvis is up and your rib cage is down, well, if you look at the shoulder blade rests on the rib cage. So if the rib cage is down, it automatically sets the shoulder blade up for problems. And then this has significant attachments into the neck bones and the base of the skull. And so this side bending problem can create shoulder blade dysfunction, which then plays out in the neck and head, causing numbness down the arms as well. So this is how you might be experiencing both of these all at the same time, especially if it's unilateral. Okay, now the other thing is that when I hear of things like this, and it sounds like it's both arms and both legs. So if it's both arms and both legs, that tells me that you've probably got an overriding huge fascial line tension problem, for which the somatic audio lessons will help you, I hope, significantly with that. Because there are superhighways of fascia that run through our body, attaching the top of the head to the bottom of the feet. And fascia is connective tissue in the body, and a lot of it's contractile. So when fascia is tight in a particular pattern, it causes dysfunction throughout that whole pattern, including legs, arms, head, neck. If you have pain all over your body, it's typically a fascial issue. So my somatics audio lessons address the fascia from all different directions. This direction, rotation, the front. It addresses the arms, it addresses the hips, it addresses breathing, it addresses walking. So you'll get it from all directions. So I would say start with those somatic audio lessons. If the pain is bilateral, meaning it's happening on both sides of the arms and both sides of the legs, I think that you need to start with the somatic audio lessons. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, Catherine, frustrated that a massage table is required. I do not have room for that. What other exercises are there that can be done without? Catherine, I do not require a massage table. I just show it done on a massage table, and I say that that is the best surface to do things on. However, it's not the only surface to do things on. So you can do it on your kitchen countertop. You can do it on your dining room table. You can do it on a picnic table. You can do it on your ottoman. You can do it on your couch. You can do it at the top of your stairs. You can do it on any flat surface. I'm just saying that the massage table is the most convenient because it's you can make the height off the ground perfect for you. You can it'll be set up and you can just be ready to go. It's got a little bit of cushioning, but it's firm. That's the kind of thing that you want. But Catherine, I'm not requiring a massage table. You can do it anywhere that you can. All right, you can do it on your bed. Just be creative. You can figure that out. Okay. Hopefully that alleviates your frustration. All right. So Dawn asks, I'm confused about when to avoid re-injury versus testing for pain. So it's a good question, Dawn. And so what I would say is with that is, and I get this a lot, and of course people are reticent to retest for their pain. I would say if you're feeling, anywhere from, 20% better or more, I think it's time to start retesting and you'll know that you're feeling 20% better or more if you're filling out the PDI, which I've asked everyone to do at the beginning and end of each week. So when you're feeling 20% or better or more, that's showing that you're on the right trajectory of solving your pain. And so that's when I think, and so you should be having some confidence that, hey, I'm moving in the right direction here. I think this is good. Okay, now I'm going to retest my pain to see if it's still, I think, because at that point, you have the confidence that the exercises are helping. And now it's time to see whether they're helping the most egregious movement or activity that causes your pain in the first place. Now, if that activity is a really, complicated, like like you're a shot putter and you want to test your back pain doing a shot put. Well, that's a bit aggressive to test it. But if it's just simply, a slight twist, or, doing a particular exercise like riding a bike or trying to, jog or something like that, then I think that's certainly a meaningful test and gentle enough that you can test it and you can control the test and see whether you're actually improving. So I would say, in general, 20% better or more, I would start feeling safe that you're having the answers that you need, and it's time to see if this is really solving the activity pain that you're having. Okay? All right, good question. Sally, I'm having such success with your program. Thank you, Sally, that I don't want to do anything to undermine it. After a 2-month wait, I didn't get the rest of your question there, Sally, but I'm glad that you're feeling success, and I'm wondering if it's similar to Dawn's question just before you, that you're worried about maybe re-engaging in the activities that caused you pain. So again, maybe break down, if it's a complex activity, break it down into smaller parts so you can test each part of that activity and see if that's causing you pain. And then if none of those parts are causing pain, then you can put that whole activity together and do it and see if any of that, if that's causing pain. Okay? So, the whole goal of this is for you to return to your life and enjoy the things that you want to do. And so breaking the things that you want to do down into smaller parts and testing each of those parts is a really great way to see whether you're ready, and help you feel the confidence that you're moving forward, and then you'll know definitively when you should be engaging in whatever activity it is that you're trying to return to. Okay? So, so hopefully that answers both of your questions, Dawn and Sally. All right, Phil at the bottom here. My upper traps feel sensitized, meaning when I exercise or massage the traps, after about 30 minutes or so, they tighten down. Okay, so what that's telling us, Phil, so the upper traps so the trapezius muscle is a very large muscle that attaches to the shoulder blade here. And it goes all the way up to the base of the skull. It attaches to all the vertebrae, all the way down to here, and comes back into the shoulder blade. It's so big that we break it down in physical therapy into zones: the upper trapezius, the middle trapezius, and the lower trapezius. All right. So, and this goes with any injury that you have, folks. If you have a massage and it feels great, and then 30 minutes later, your pain comes back, it's telling us that the massage is only temporarily interrupting the problem. It's not solving the problem. That's what my program is designed to do. So with the upper traps, I hope, Phil, that you have the Heal Your Headaches program. And if you haven't, then I would recommend that you get it. And there's a taping technique in there to tape the shoulder blade into a better position. This is frankly, this is the test. It's such a powerful taping technique. This is what I use in my clinic all the time to see whether someone's pain, migraines, headaches, neck pain, shoulder pain, whatever, is due to poor positioning of the shoulder blade. 99.9% of the time, especially with chronic pain, it is. So you tape the shoulder blade into a better position and see if your pain goes away. It should go away almost immediately. The first time, I have it in the video, you want to keep the tape on for 4 hours to make sure your skin doesn't get broken down because of it. But otherwise, if it doesn't, you can wear that tape for a whole week. That should solve the upper trap tightness. Now, really what's going on here is we've got this massive upper trap, and many people think it's their traps that are in spasm. And usually they'll point to an area like right here. Oh man, right there is where it gets me. Well, guess what? That's not your upper traps. What is likely really going into spasm is a little tiny muscle deep to the trapezius called the levator scapula, which starts at the corner of the shoulder blade here and inserts into C1, 2, 3, and 4. If you watch my video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, and you would know this. So the levator scapula, its job is in the name, levator. It elevates the scapula. So it's trying to, that little tiny pinky muscle is trying to put this whole system back into place for you, and it's under spasm, and that's why it doesn't feel better for very long. Because maybe you've got gravity pulling this down, maybe you've engaged your scapular depressors too much. Maybe you have postural issues, but my program will solve all of those things for you. But basically what's going on, that spasm is most likely this levator scapula, not the trapezius. And that's why it's confused, is because it's deep to the trapezius, and massaging the trapezius will help relax the levator scapula, but it's not going to solve the levator scapular pain. What will solve the levator scapular spasm? Repositioning the scapula and correcting the scapular issues. So hopefully that makes sense, Phil. If you haven't watched those videos, and all the videos, folks, all of the videos in my program, and the welcome videos and the introduction videos and all that, please watch all of those, because it will explain all of this for you and exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it and how to think about this. And then also, please don't forget the overall pain checklist. That will guide you in thinking like me. It'll be like me being right there in your house with you, because it asks the questions I would ask. And if you answer those questions every week, you'll start to see you'll start to think about your pain more objectively, like a therapist. Right now, you're a little bit too close to your pain, and so it's hard to think about it objectively. That's what that overall pain checklist is helping you do. And that would help you with all of these questions that I've answered today. I'm happy to answer them, but it would just help you move faster if you use that overall pain checklist and watched all the videos in the program. Okay, folks, that's all the questions. And thank you so much. And let's keep moving forward.